one.
Patty, we made it. Game number 44. As we bring you back inside the Toronto Rock Athletic Center on the blue turf. Gold stars to everybody who's caught up. Watched all 44 throughout this Ontario Junior Lacrosse League season. Why not some silver stars if this is your 6th one of the day, 12th of the weekend, whatever it is. Game number 44, the final one. Brampton Excelsiors here facing off against Kitchener-Waterloo. What a ride it's been over the past 2 weekends here at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center.
We've been treated to some great lacrosse. Unfortunately here for Kitchener-Waterloo, still looking for their first victory. What a way to cap off their season. Play a little bit of a spoiler here for Brampton. Although we'll get to the tie-breaking situation, but I do think Brampton maybe has already punched their ticket into that Final Four.
Jordan Ackey and Logan Donnelly getting us started here. The familiar maroon and gold of the Brampton Excelsiors going right to left. Steven Orleman just hanging out down the end of the floor as he's played every second pretty much in this tournament as the shot over the shoulder of Reed Fitton, I believe, getting the start tonight for KW.
And that is a great start here for Brampton. First possession, first shot. And this is Horseman, the youngster. Little jab step comes around off the back foot. Top shelf. Great shot from the youngster there.
Bowie Horseman takes 24 seconds to break the ice here. Has a collision in along the boards. Former Brampton Excelsior, Andrew Borgatti, now wearing the C for KW.
I was going to say, Matt, you mentioned it all there. Not as many GMs here in attendance today, but it's been an important day in the National Lacrosse League, first day of free agency, so a little preoccupied, but good thing, like you said, you can always go back and watch these games on demand on JVI.
John Vesna walking across the restraining line. He'll push down into the corner. Here for Penn Eastrat. Hard shot from Austin Hazen. Fitton trying to find the ball. Right at the end of the shot clock there. Was caught up in his feet. Pardon me, that's the 30. That might be Cole Martin. Sorry, Pat. Didn't mean to make you put your stats hat on so early here, as a bounce shot past Orleman will tie things up here. A minute and 32.
Speaking of some stats, a guy who's had a solid week here, whether it be up with the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club in the Major Series or here in Junior A with KW, Jake Stevens gets on the board and proving why he is such a highly touted prospect in the game of lacrosse.
He is a 99. This is final Junior A game. I count 4 on this KW roster, including Ty Kurtz, Andrew Borgatti, and Nate Braniff.
But just looking here, I do not see Kurtz in the lineup tonight.
That's a shame, because what a tournament that young man had. As here's Majeros running in. He passes up here for Bowen, and Dante Bowen tried the jump and dunk all in one motion. It was enough to reset the shot clock, however, as Vesna will find Hazen off the bench. Horseman, Vesna outside for Seth Van Scheppen. Quick stick, Horseman, and look at the ball movement from the Excelsiors.
And Matt, this is the beauty of this OJLL season. We've got veterans on the floor, and then you have young players with bright futures like Horseman. And we'll see the feed coming right across, backdoor bang in the back of the net, and that's why Brampton is finding themselves in this Final Four. They have a perfect blend of some older veterans but young, talented players that are putting on some shows here and to prove that they have a bright future here in the OJLL.
We just saw the Toronto Beaches bow out on the floor behind us. I counted, what was it, 899s.
899s, potentially 2 other 2000s, depending on what happens there with that ruling. But again, the Beaches, a lot of young, talented players. They are losing a big core, but they do still have some young players down the pipeline as well.
And the veterans on the St. Catharines Athletics who have punched their ticket into semifinal weekend. Borgatti will play hidden ball play with DeCiccio. Captain still has it up top, however. Now DeCiccio gets it for real. His shot over a screen, and Orleman stands in to make that save. Eight-second violation as all kinds of problems there for the Excelsiors. Liam McKay couldn't pick up on the near side, and a quick shot. Trevor Barrett.
Matt, you talked about it been a long day for us up here in the booth. How about these officials? The third straight game calling this game. Same crew, Andrew Ecclestone, Mike Sullivan, and Brendan Hessen as well.
Shout out to all the officials. I think it's been a well-officiated tournament, top to bottom. Was it level 5s, I think it is, in the OLA. And officiating supervisor Don Koharski. Excellent job to all the men in black here over the past 2 weekends. Hard shot here, Orpana turned the corner, and then Orpana gets into it with Riley DeLille. And a penalty coming here. Did Orpana get a bit too much of DeLille? Hazen to Van Scheppen. Extra attacker is on as the shot clock ticks down to 10 seconds here. Van Scheppen for Hazen, cross crease. Back for Van Scheppen. Ball movement again from this Excelsior squad.
Brampton is buzzing. If you're a team that has to go up against Brampton, I highly advise about taking penalties because they might not even be able to get a power play opportunity as they score with the extra attacker. That is just to perfection as Seth Van Scheppen gets on the board with his first goal, 3-1 for Brampton.
Well, I'm looking at their roster here, Pat. We've got hometowns listed. There is a ton of Brampton on this roster, with the exception of Nate Grennan from Ottawa. No hands high here as Garcia gets up slowly. And he looks like he's in rough shape as he heads off. As in diving across and landing in the crease was Borgatti, but as Jacob Garcia gets attention over on the Brampton bench.
Yeah, and I know we just finished giving praises to these officials, and they have done a tremendous job, but that was a clear hit to the head. Garcia was almost barely able to get off the floor. That's one that you'd like the officials to pick up.
Well, the point that I was trying to make is this ball is going to get away from Horseman. A lot of these players have played together a long time. Still names on this roster from, 4 years ago when they made the Minto Cup and played together all the way through the minor system, come up through junior together. That's where you get that chemistry and that ball movement that we can see. Not a lot of outside of the center trades or other drafting from other markets.
Yeah, for the most part, like you said, a lot of Brampton here. You mentioned Grennan from Ottawa. You obviously pick up Kyle Waters in a trade from Orangeville. Chris Veltman from Stouffville, playing his junior B with the West Durham Ironheads, but obviously some ties to Brampton with his father playing with the Excelsiors at the senior level. So
a lot of space on the floor right now as we're 4-on-4. Offsetting penalties After a couple scrums that the officials have pegged early on, as Orleman makes another save. One of the good young up-and-coming goaltenders coming out of Ontario. Got a number of them in this tournament that we talked about the other night, Pat.
Goaltending has been tremendous here on display the last 2 weekends at the track.
Here's Hazen. Pick and roll. As it comes through with Logan Donnelly. Save was made. And a fresh 30 seconds. Hazen got it up top, and a little too much there is getting up and hobbling off is Jack McShuley. A shovel shot towards the crease as the ball was in the crease. That's the reason for the violation against Jake Rosa, who then chases Liam Steele all the way down the floor. Carson Moyer, a name I haven't mentioned too much, calling the, I think, 3 Excelsior games I've done in this tournament. As Moyer gets that shot. Rebound picked up by Rosa. Up for Penn Eastrat. As he stole it away.
You know, that's one thing I've noticed with these teams from top to bottom. All of these forwards have done a tremendous job pressuring and taking advantage of that 8-second clock, trying to make the defender panic. And that's an example right there.
Hard shot from Eastrat. Rebound over in the corner. 4 men rugby scrumming for it, and it's Eastrat that accepts the pass, but then looking to get it to Horseman. It's up and in the screening.
I think the days of just having an offensive player that just puts the ball in the net or sets things up, those days are close to being done. You've got to be a complete player to play at the elite levels now.
Well, the game has just gotten so fast, Pat, that, you know, we talked about it, the FOGO is gone because you have to be able to play defense and take your normal shift on defense and push up if you have to.
Absolutely. Yeah, the days of wasting a card on a specialist, it just doesn't happen anymore.
At any position.
Exactly, you're totally right.
Except for netminder.
But now even netminder, you got to have a good stick. You got to be able to outlet the pass with the spoons in your hand, or, you know, 8 seconds is going to go by quick if the goalie can't make a pass.
Here comes Borgatti. DeCiccio. The number of players that kind of played the Blaze Reardon thing. They may have come from field and they run on one side and they play goal on the other. That's starting to change the way the game is played as well. As here comes a shot from Trevor Barrett. It just kind of floats through the mid zone and just past the right arm of Orleman.
Barrett, we'll see here. He's going to get the ball in just a quick second here. Just leans into his defender, creates enough space, and just steps back. That's a perfectly placed shot. A very annoying spot on the net for the goaltender, right on that hip.
Record aside here, Pat, KW, a team that will not go away. As they've been relatively close in every game. Some of the third periods have got away from them a few times, but goaltender to the bench here as we're going to get a slashing penalty against Brampton.
Matt, you mentioned just KW not ever giving up in a game, always playing. I mean, the 2 games against Burlington alone that I called, they were always just battling in it, never giving up. And like you said, just third period, the wheels kind of fall off here. But they do lose a couple of key players on the top of their depth chart. But no doubt there are some young players on this team with a lot of promise. And, you know, the future, there is some bright here for KW.
Loose ball picked out here by Lucas Ferreira. Excuse me, it's Majeros. As Jordan Majeros will bounce around. Mark Van Scheppen all the way outside, keeping the Majeros and Van Scheppen names on the bench for a couple more years in Brampton as Horseman backs away. Although Jordan Majeros listed as a 2000, again, we're not sure how that ruling will go, but for sure 99s in their final at least couple games of Junior A. Hard shot from up top. Quickly, Barrett back down to the crease. And a save made by Orleman, but rebound still controlled here by Kitchener. Up top for Barrett. His shot skips off the end glass. 10 on the shot clock. Zane Dalpe, part of the all-name team here in the tournament, along with Xander Durkatz, I think.
Oh, yeah. That's there for sure.
Shot clock violation against KW. It's the thing when you call 44, you come across some pretty good names here in the OJ.
I mean, boy, Horseman's got to be there too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. 3.5 minutes left here in the period as we go back to 5-on-5 and straight out of the box, or off the bench for the man out of the box is Mark Van Scheppen. His shot was weakly on net, and Noah Lebar brings it back for Trent DeCiccio. Flip behind his back. What a play. What a save from Orleman, who's still trying to get back out of the split position. But Owen Blount-Smith the other way with Seth Van Scheppen.
Talking to Orleman after their last game, and obviously very focused on the task at hand, but he knows as well he's getting ready for probably his first season as a starting goalie in the National Lacrosse League with the Riptide.
Soak there, and down goes Borgatti. I think he took that right in the chest. And they'll get the stoppage as he was right in the shooting lane. That looked like where he held on to, and he sheds the stick and the gloves and goes for a bit of a walk over there on the KW bench. Here is Horseman looking for Penn Estrat, and Gavin Snow with the interception. Horseman trying to steal it from Rosa, and Rosa gets it back. Not sure how close they were in the 8 count, but the shot clock was at about 22 and a half.
Again, not a math guy, so.
This is Dalpe up top. Kind of shoveled it in the direction of Rosa, who was taken down, and everybody kind of shrugging their shoulders in the direction of the officials. Forgot that the play was still going on, and that one nearly snuck in.
Yeah, Orleman, he was one of the ones leading the charge there, hands up, and that behind the back shot attempt almost sneaked by him. We'll see it here, and he gets thrown to the ground. I do believe they called it a trip.
Trip, yeah.
And that one there looked mightily close.
That note on Orleman, he was the goalie protected by the New York Riptide. I kind of wondered if they might be a team that wouldn't protect one, but taking no chances with the young netminder.
You'd think maybe Panther City would take a stab at both Orleman brothers and go with a tandem there. Well, it's good to see. It looks like Borgatti is doing fine as he's playing some great defense there.
On Patrick Diamasis, who went for a run. First shift back for Borgatti that we saw. Also haven't seen Dante Bowen in a while. He was getting some attention from the trainer As it looked like he was dealing with a bit of a cut, but still trying to check out Garcia, who hasn't come back after taking that big hit.
Yeah, Garcia did not look good coming off the floor. Hoping for the best for him.
Donnelly for Van Scheppen in the final minute here. Over the shoulder shot bounces over top of that KW goal and out of play. 40 seconds remaining here in the period. Working out of the corner for Dalpe now up top. 12 on the shot clock, now 10 for Dalpe. Gets it back again. Weekly just trying to dump it in the middle for Barrett. And a hard outside shot from Nathan Solaris. Hits off a body and we will get the shot clock violation. Only 10 to go in the period. As Oriel Mandeville will bring it down the near side. Penn Eastrat going to go for a long bomb to beat the clock. And he won't do it, but 3 in the period for Brampton. KW keeping it close with a pair of their own. You're watching the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League on the JVI Sports Network. The final game of this regular season here on the JVI Sports Network.
Hey guys, this is Paul Dawson from the Rochester Nighthawks.
And this is Dan Lomas of the New York Riptide. We've come together to create Back of the Bird, sports stories from the best spot they're told, the back of the plane. We're sitting down with NLLers across the league to chat about Junior A, Senior A, NLL, MLL, everything that goes along with it, on the floor, off the floor, and it's presented by Cottage Springs. So give us a listen wherever you listen to your podcast, whether it's Spotify, Apple, and I swear you'll love it.
Like and subscribe.
Peace. Swipe up.
Ontario Junior Lacrosse League broadcasts are brought to you by the Ontario Dairy Farmers. Hashtag milk up. Change in goal for Brampton, as everything looks to be okay with Orleman, but is it Caleb Slinger, I believe, coming in on relief for what I believe is the first time in this tournament. So perhaps the Excelsiors may have gotten the little bird in the ear that you got there in that break.
Yeah, so word coming in, I do believe that Brampton has punched their ticket in as they have the tiebreaker head-to-head over Burlington. So even if they were to lose this game, they defeated Burlington, so they have that head-to-head tiebreaker.
Leading 3-2 here nonetheless as John Vesna over the top. He goes to Hazen on the far side. Trying the pick and roll there, defended nicely by Rosa as there was no room for Penn Eastrat. Shot for Van Scheppen. That does reset the clock. And then going high, taken down. As here's Borgatti. He's got one coming out the front door. What a catch. Can't do anything with it is Trent DeCiccio. It's thrown away though, but the reception. Excelsiors wanted the quick restart, but they're not going to give it to you standing on the crease. As here's Vesna off the bench. Mark Van Scheppen, seeing a lot of him as his defender stumbles and he puts it in the corner. Eats the shot after as Vesna gives a little bit extra to Gavin Snow, but make it 4-2. This is a pretty one.
A pretty one indeed. And he pays the ultimate price to get it as well. Just a lot of space here in the middle, but he'll run out and just get slammed.
I think all 5 defenders touched him at some point on his way to the net, too.
Exactly. Gavin Snow with the last lick, but it's the last laugh for Mark Van Scheppen, who puts that one in and double up the lead here. And I think
there was a delayed penalty on the call, so the officials trying to sort that out. With a 4-2 lead, like you said, as we go back to the dot. And not Aki this time, as DeCiccio brings it in. Looks like Reed Kurtz at the dot. Here's Stevens. Shake Stevens backing his way through. A pile up in front of the crease as 2 players collide, and they're going to take both of them. I'm not sure why that wasn't called sooner. But the goal goes in and gets taken off the board, so he said we hadn't seen much of Dante Bowen. He'll go sit for 2 minutes here.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure. Once I saw the arm go up, Bowen go down, I thought we were just getting the hold, but it appears obviously both of them are going off. That's why we didn't get the goal there.
Well, and I thought if they were offsetting, it would have been blown immediately as well, as opposed to a couple extra passes and a shot on net.
Right, exactly.
But the save there from Slinger brings the bench to life, as they salute the 2001 goaltender from Brampton. Go figure.
Quick note, just looking in the stands here at the track, and notice that he wasn't on the floor at all so far. Nathan Grennan getting the nightcap off.
Austin Hazen, the captain, does not, however, as he puts the bouncer through the legs of Cole Martin.
Not much space here to work at all for Hazen, but clearly doesn't need too much. He tried to go over top side, recognized there's some space, beats Borgatti, and Martin hugging his post. Clearly not enough. 2 seconds left on the clock. That one squeaks through. 5-2 ball game.
Brampton can put runs together, like you said, without Grennan tonight as well. One of their top point producers coming into the day.
The only man with more points than Grennan on this team is the guy who just scored his last goal.
And nobody with more goals after the first week. All the way up top there for Reed Kurtz. And haven't seen Bo Columbus at the dot either. Your favorite draw man here in this tournament.
Oh boy, he's been great.
As Vesno put it into the corner. Van Scheppen, Estrat. Playing back here for Horseman. He lets his shot fly. It's off the end boards, bounces all the way back for Vesna, and he'll just lift it into the screening and got caught up in behind the shot clock, I think. I didn't see it fall. Hidden ball play here with Jake Rosa and Orpana. Rosa's going to go to the bench, so I don't think he has it. As it's kept alive here by Kitchener. DeCiccio hit well shooting. And the man that hit him was Owen Bowden Smith. Garcia is back out there. And looking much better than the last time we saw him make his way off the floor. So that is a good sight. Especially considering the way he went off earlier. We got a tie-up in front of the net with Austin Hazen standing over his man, and a cross-checking penalty coming here to the Brampton captain. I mean, Jackman Schooley got involved.
We'll see on the replay here where this illegal cross-check comes. And oh yeah, that
Probably right there, Pat.
You probably could have called a couple of those there. The one low and the other one up and right to the helmet.
They do only count one of them, however, 2 on the board. As KW a chance to get one back here, an early run for the Excelsiors in this period. As Stevens gets out of the way, Orpana will take the shot, and Slinger stands in for the save.
Slinger's looked sharp since coming to this game. Angles are great, moves really well. And surprise, surprise, Brampton just has another great goaltender in the pipeline again.
You say that like you've met a few of them in your days. Estrat to the outside. That was Logan Donnelly. Bringing it back for Mark Van Scheppen. His shot saved by Martin. And now Borgatti. Bring it across center. We've seen this from Kitchener a couple times in this tournament. The mid-period timeout call. And this time they're going to use it to switch goaltenders. So out goes Cole Martin. And we'll have to wait for official word on which number 1 Chase Cosgrove, I believe. From South Woodsdale. Getting a few shots in from Jackman Schooley. The officials were talking, and wait a second, what's that noise?
I mean, you gotta give them you gotta give them props for at least trying there. Jackman Schooley.
I mean, we're still on KW's timeout here.
Yeah, true. Hey.
So goaltender changes on both sides of the ledger now as Slinger in net for Brampton and Chase Cosgrove. 6'2", 183. Good size for the netminder. Seen him a few times already in this tournament. As Stevens for DeCiccio. Off to his right. Off the stick of DeCiccio. Now Stevens will get it back. Staring down. A defender. Save made by Slinger. How loved is the backup goaltender on a team that has a bona fide number 1. Every single save he makes, the sticks come out over on that Brampton bench. 25 left here in the penalty to Hazing. Slinger steps up and they salute their netminder again to this Brampton team. Dante Bowen running out in a partial breakaway, and Borgatti was there at Cosgrove helping the refs, so that didn't touch me.
Matt, I know there's been a lot of talk about goaltenders, and I'll say this quick. Just if you look at the final 4 teams, they either have one elite goaltender or a top tandem, and that's probably a reason why they're still playing come next week.
Great point, Pat, as Stevens off the pipe. Whew. And going back to our other point as well, they're teams that can get out in transition. They've got snipers once they get there. And just absolute grit on defense as a moving screen will be called here. Steele was taken off his spot by Josh Rosa, and now Diamesis will run it down. Low shot off the end glass.
I know in the East, Matt, you talk about the grit defense and transition. Everyone obviously talks about Mimico's high-powered offense, Whitby's high-powered offense, but it's been their defense and goaltending that has bailed them out sometimes when the offense hasn't been able to produce.
Orpana trips up Majeros. There's an argument between him and Ecclestone in behind us, but the arm is high. And Orpana, I was going to say, is going to sit here, but with the extra attacker, Brampton ever so dangerous. Seth Van Scheppen over to Austin Hazen. His shot, Cosgrove looking for it. It's under the pads, and it'll be a tripping call. I don't think I've seen this many tripping calls in, I mean, I haven't seen this many games in a 2-week span, but.
No, you're right. A lot of tripping calls. This time, Andrew Ecclestone making the call. I believe the first one was with official Mike Sullivan.
Not just this game, though, Pat. Like every game we've called, there's been
right.
at least 2 or 3. So when you talk about points of emphasis for the officials, I think we've figured out at least one of the things they've talked about. And the delay of game call would be my second guess, in addition to the rule changes.
I think number 3 is the illegal changes. Notice a lot of too many men calls.
Noah Lebar, low shot there, and Brampton Excelsior bench will tell you the Slingers made another stop. Garcia looks off a couple defenders who went running with him, and he'll give for Hazen here. Half-hearted attempt at a hidden ball trick with 1:10 left to go in the power play and 10 seconds left in the shot clock. That pass goes well errant as Horseman fell. Back for Van Scheppen trying to beat the shot clock. They're going to say that it did. Over the shoulder now. Cosgrove stands in and makes 2 great stops back to back. Here's Borgatti. Bypasses Kurtz, goes for DeCiccio. Him and Reed. Kurtz, the pick and the roll to perfection.
Two-man game strong for KW here on this goal. We'll see it right here. Brampton's defender gets drawn out real high, and it's just that little pop right on the hip. And great athleticism there by Reed Kurtz to make sure he doesn't go into the crease. His 4th goal of the tournament, number 10 for the points category from him.
So Pat, you're a junior level coach. How many times in practice do you go over the 2-man offense with your penalty kill unit, as that comes shorthanded?
And you know what? It's definitely not on the pecking order, but it's one of those things that you get about halfway through the season, and something like that happens. Well, and it's one of those situations where, you know, we should probably practice this more often. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, some players do get lost.
Here's Stevens. They had room on the crease. It finally gets there on the rebound. And Trevor Barrett, don't look now, but this pesky Kitchener-Waterloo team is back within 1.
And Barrett scoring his 2nd of the game, up to 8 goals. And I've been impressed with his game, and how can you not be? Just a heads-up play. Gets that ball off and uses his big reach to get that around Slinger.
And it starts with the wheels of a 99 Jake Stevens, who we've admired since that first game we saw him on last Saturday.
And I think you maybe got an extra couple of looks at him during the week with Major Series Lacrosse.
Let me just tell you, he did not look out of place.
I know General Manager Brad MacArthur very impressed with him, using a first-round pick on him as well. So obviously very high on him, and seems to be showing that that first pick was worthy.
Horseman over the middle, and the defense talking to each other now as Horseman got into the middle and over the shoulder of Cosgrove.
And that's a hattie for Horseman. Just an absolute thoroughbred on this goal here, using his speed, a little bit of strength there, but just the agility on this youngster to be able to shake a few defenders there and put it in the back of the net.
So 6-4 shots, absolutely even, 22 all right now here in the second period. Closing in on the final 5 minutes as Logan Donnelly gets that face-off caught up in his stick. Lebar, a bouncer across to Orpana. Had thoughts of cutting the corner. Now for Stevens. Stevens will get it back. Orpana calling for it. Orpana had it. Fell out the back end of the stick. Still trying to pick up. Steele on Orpana. He'll pass quickly to the crease. They go quick stick now. As Stevens was there and just couldn't bring it down cleanly enough to get a shot away.
And that's good defense there by Blunt Smith to be on Stevens' hands, not allow him to get that quick stick off.
Owen Blount Smith trying to shake Rosa here. It's played up for Carson Moyer. Hazen and Vesna. John Vesna over his shoulder for Moyer. I think this Brampton team isn't trying to get some of these non-regulars a couple points here.
Absolutely, youngsters. They got to get the touches just in case something happens next weekend, and they might need to step into a role that they're not quite used to getting just yet.
John Vesna was getting called for a penalty. I believe him and is this Kalen Martin getting involved in the middle. And the initial penalty was caught by the trail official, and it'll be Martin going off. Nothing for the retaliation from Vesna.
We'll see it right here. So Martin gives him a couple of healthy whacks, a cross check there. Before that even, we saw, and Vesna just gives him a pop back and a shove. But like you said, nothing for the retaliation, and Vesna going to stay unscathed here and stay out on the power play.
I missed the initial penalty, so when the whistle went and I looked up and it was Vesna in the face of the KW player, I just assumed it was him. But watching that replay, as Cosgrove from behind the net, the pass out to Vesna, then Hazen. This almost looks like a field goal here, Pat. All it's missing is the splash.
This is just a gorgeous power play. Great ball movement, but like you said, the athleticism Hazen shows here behind the net. Vesna gives it right back. Hazen dances around a couple of checks. Fake, boom, right in the back of the net. I said it, do not take penalties against Brampton because they will burn you.
Austin Hazen from Belmont Abbey College. So familiar with that side of the game.
And Belmont Abbey certainly likes their Canadian players. They've recruited a ton. And Hazen, one of their top players down at that school.
3.5 minutes left in the second period. Brampton lead now 3. Stevens, his shot off the crossbar, and then he got dumped in the crease afterwards. So that'll give it back to Kitchener here with a fresh 30 seconds. Couple whacks on the ball carrier, Barrett. Now trying to spin back Stevens. Stevens for Orpana, who took care of his man and then carried on towards the crease as Liam McKay was there to scoop up the loose ball. McKay for Moyer. Shot from the outside, Horseman. And Hazen in the crease. I think we had all H's on the floor at the same time there. Reed Kurtz finding his man off the bench. That's Josh Rosa, not Solaris. As Rosa tries to draw it back to himself. Zane Dalpe chasing. Oh. I'm kind of glad it was just the ball that went through that door, to be quite honest with you. Brampton trying the outlet pass. Kitchener had a chance to get one of their own as Stevens was off the bench untouched. And a big hit here as it's picked up by Garcia, as if he hasn't seen enough of that tonight. And he comes out of the corner with the ball, but a turnover here, I believe, as in behind. Liam Steele gave a little bit too much of a shove into Trevor Barrett, and that takes the ball away. Brampton was off streaking, though. Garcia again slowly making his way off, but this time looks like he is going to stay on the bench as Slinger makes the save. Blount Smith and Orpana were nose to nose.
And Matt, I think this is what you call game management at this point. Normally, I think earlier in the season...
Hockey Twitter ain't going to be happy with you, Pat.
But it's true. I think earlier in the day, maybe even, or earlier, maybe yesterday,
Absolutely.
last week, maybe they let a few of those things go, but with a team like Brampton who've already punched their ticket to the Final Four, KW, a team that's obviously frustrated, a couple of close games, but not being able to come out with a win, stuff like this is going to happen.
Here's Van Scheppen and Vesna working high. 4-on-4 for the second time tonight. That one echoes all through the building, and the arms high again. As Penn Eastrat ate a massive chop. Van Scheppen, Hazen tried to take out all the aggression of that Brampton bench on the back of the net, but the mask of Cosgrove got in the way. Here's the reset. One of those rule changes that you can keep the possession going. Brampton will be happy to do that here with Slinger on the bench. Trail official won't be happy. His arm is there, and down goes Vesna, and Ecclestone's arm goes high as he's got a high stick. And we're going to get two Kitchener-Waterloo players in the box here.
Okay, Matt, that is not game management. That's just a blatant penalty there. I mean, it takes a lot to take down a guy like John Vesna, but he gets his clock clean. We'll see. Coming up right here, that ball down. Vesna's looking for the ball, and he just takes that. I don't know if it was quite the stick, but definitely a fist in the face.
And that's how you answer. Van Scheppen of Vesna on the crease, and he'll bounce it through the legs of Cosgrove with 50 seconds left here in the second.
Is it me, or does it feel like John Vesna's been playing junior lacrosse for about 40 years?
Yes. When you're 6'2", 260 at 21 years old, you can start playing when you're 12.
Yeah, and it feels like, I mean, he's been this size for a long time, and he's one of those big bodies that moves well for his size. But between his time here with Brampton, with the Halton Hills Junior B Bulldogs, he's always performed at any level that he's been called up to, and I think that's why he's going to get a shot at the next level as well with that big frame and great skill.
Well, I called his first MSL call-up, which turned out to not be exactly kosher. The team that called him up didn't own his rights, but a 5-point performance against big boys, including a hat trick. So Rochester Nighthawks, he's coming your way, and I think he's ready.
It's like when Fred Van Vliet played for Wichita State. It was like, wait, this guy still has eligibility?
4-on-3 is the floor strength as Horseman tries to turn and stuff it in himself with 20 left in the period. Shot clock ticks down. Cosgrove, what a save! As he had Moyer right on the crease. 10 seconds left to go. As, Clark comes in. Andrew Clark. Bounce shot in on Slinger. The penalty will expire. Period will expire, but we've got another penalty. It'll be a slash. But a 7-4 game here for Brampton with 15 minutes left. And not only the period, the game, the weekend, and of course the OJLL season. Glad to have you all with us. We're coming down the stretch on the other side of this timeout. This is OJLL action on the JVI Sports Network.
Saturday, December the 4th will be a historic night, Rock City. Wednesday at 10 a.m., tickets go on sale for the Rock home opener against the Albany Firewolves at Hamilton's First Ontario Centre on Saturday, December the 4th. The return of the Toronto Rock is near, and the time to lock in your seats to the home opener is just days away. Visit Ticketmaster.ca or TorontoRock.com to purchase. It's the home opener, the Firewolves and the Rock. Saturday, December the 4th at First Ontario Centre in Hamilton. Get your tickets Wednesday. Your seat in Rock City awaits.
Ontario Junior Lacrosse League broadcasts are brought to you by the Dairy Farmers of Ontario. Hashtag Milk Up. Huge shout out to them and all the sponsors for helping us out these past 2 weekends.
One of the sponsors, Matt, Back of the Bird podcast. I believe the episode just dropped today. Commissioner Mark Grimes, the guest this week.
I saw that.
I think I'm going to have to download it and listen to it on the way home.
I've got myself a drive tomorrow that I could use a couple lacrosse buddies in the car with me. Shout out to Dan Lomas. I called that game on Tuesday and, just gut-wrenching. I had a chance to message back and forth with him that night, but, man, I just feel for anybody when I see that happen, but especially for Dan Lomas, but seems to be reading his Twitter posts in good enough spirits, and we hope a good recovery for him.
I mean, a guy I don't think could be any more positive of what happened to him going into such a big year after a huge year. With the Riptide, I think he was ready to take that next step. Obviously, some good players coming in as well. So, shout out to him. But as he said to me, just more time to focus on the podcast.
Well, he told me it was just a bump in the road.
Yep.
But we're all pulling for you, Dan.
Dan, of course, as well, and OJLL alumni.
Yes, sir. As are numerous NLL superstars at this point, and a lot of the up-and-coming prospects. This is where it happens. As we're still... No, we are now 4-on-4, trying to keep the penalties straight. in that first period with 30 seconds left to go in the Brampton Minor. DeCiccio down to the crease, return for Reed Kurtz. And I think Slinger must have got a piece of that, as first off the shot clock was reset and the bench responded. Here's Kurtz. Oh, Slinger was going down, the ball went high, and I think it hit off the crossbar. Stumble there for Garcia. Gutsy performance for him as DeCiccio chases this down. Back to center. Stevens has it in the corner as we return to even strength. Stevens wasn't aware of the extra man and got leveled. That pops the ball free, and Brampton now headed up floor. Not so fast. Zane Dolpe looking for revenge for his teammate as Hazen comes through. Here's Vesna and Donnelly. You and I wondered if Vesna might be back in this game as he gets tied up here, and Seth Van Scheppen gloves get high. Vesna's involved, and that's why we wondered, as Austin Hazen will lock cages with Nason Solaris.
And I think if I heard correctly, it sounded like Andrew Ecclestone said a 10.
I think he was calling number 10, 77
there you go.
and 10 being John Vesna and Austin Hazen.
I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing some misconducts here just to get some of these players out of the game that are getting involved in the rough stuff.
Well, remember with the 15-minute penalty or periods, here, you know, a 10 basically ends your night. And we're 12 minutes and 19 seconds left in the third. But we had kind of talked off air about that being the coach's decision with John Vesna, and we saw him come down and head down straight into the pile, which, I mean, he's playing hard ball first, but then the extra stuff after is where starting to have a problem here this evening.
Yeah, and absolutely. And John Vesna's a player that's tough to rein in. That's the way he plays. He makes contact first. He sets those heavy picks. And when you get an angry John Vesna, he's going to throw those picks a little harder. And maybe he's not paying attention to the ball as much. So it's really tough to dial those guys in. And like you said, I think that's where a coach, then you talk about game management from a referee standpoint. Well, there's also game management from a coach's standpoint, deciding who's going out, where you're putting them, what situations, putting your players in situations so they maybe don't make those bad decisions. But I mean, I do trust Coach Hazen. He's a pretty darn good coach.
I was just going to comment on Mike Hazen, former MSL coach, NLL coach, and you see, as you go back and talk about those Final Four teams, they've got a ton of experience and brain power over on their benches as well. I mean, we're seeing Cody Jameson's team go home, for goodness sake.
I know. Just you look at every single team from top to bottom, littered with just unbelievable coaching minds, and that's not even including the management staff, front office staff as well. A lot of these NLL players are giving back to the game, and it's great to see. And Matt, you talked about some of those superstars playing in the OJLL, but I mean, if you just look at the last few years of the most valuable players, I mean, obviously McCombie's still in the league, but in 2018, Ryan Hartley in the National Lacrosse League, back-to-back Jeff T, first overall pick. Austin Shanks having himself a great career in Halifax. Daniel Craig, another player with the Toronto Rock, having a great season. Johnny Pallas, he's been in the league forever. Dane Smith, Jeremy Noble in 2012. Michael Burke, Kyle Matisse, Randy Statz, the list goes on, and that's just dating back to 2009.
Keep going, we're going to get Hall of Fame names starting to pop up, and the chuckle there, but
it's true.
Credit to everyone that's come through this Toronto Rock Athletic Center over the last 2 weeks. It's been an incredible tournament of lacrosse, even to the teams that unfortunately saw their exit here today. But credit as well to new commissioner Mark Grimes. Huge hats off getting the teams back on the floor Colleen Grimes helping put all this on. I know the hard work that went behind that. Our thanks to them and their staff and their team. It's just been an incredible couple weekends. I've told Jeremy Bailey a couple of times the inspired and energized that I felt after doing a 16-hour day here in the building. You shouldn't feel like that going home, but man, oh man, it's been fun. Here's a quick steal that's going to turn into a breakaway for Jake Rosa and a goal.
Matt, you've mentioned those high motor players, the gritty players, guys who don't stop. Well, that is exactly what Rosa is. A great strip here. Picks up the loose ball, goes in all alone, and even has the hands and the athleticism to pull off a fake like that while keeping his feet out of the crease. There you go again, Matt, talking about those players that can do a little bit of everything.
And he is a 2000. He's Jake Rosa, but he's got spark plug tendencies that you can see in that player.
And that's something you can't coach.
This scrum happens right in front of us, and it trying to get up from underneath everybody was DeCiccio. As eventually trying to sneak a couple shots in was Gavin Snow. But here's Horseman. Has Hazen off the bench. Bowie Horseman. Couple swim moves there. Ball down. He's not really sure where it is. As a couple KW players were about to take off. Blair Cosgrove, one of them. As was Borgatti. Thinks better of it. Spins back. Fakes it to Braniff. Borgatti's still with it. Rips a shot that looked like it was destined for the corner and actually caught Slinger ducking, but it was off the mark.
Seen a lot of hidden ball tricks, not all of them working there, but there have even been some where some defenders on the floor have picked up on it and the other ones haven't. That one there, I think the majority of the players eventually realized, but there was a chance there by Borgatti.
Forget who it was today. All the games are starting to mesh together, to be honest with you, but I want to say Burlington pulled off a... No, it was Whitby because it was Dyson Williams on the back end, a triple hidden ball play that no one knew where it was to start. The two guys that didn't have it faked it to each other, and it was Dyson Williams just standing there, just potting it in the open cage.
And I was going to say the last hidden ball trick that I saw was yesterday, and Whitby pulled that one off as well. Dyson Williams was involved. I believe it was Sean Wesley who put it in between the net, though.
Here comes the hard shot, ball rattling around there for Moyer, and rattles over the line. The ball does come out. We're going to have to see this one again.
Nice roll off the pick there from Moyer, and he unloads this in the follow-through.
Austin Hazen in the way, unfortunately, but he celebrates goal immediately.
The way it bounced off there, I gotta assume it hits that back mesh and came out. I think that's got to be a good goal.
So 9-5 now, your score for Brampton. As every time KW gets one, Brampton will respond with another, so they can only get so close. With now a 4-goal lead. Here for Horseman. 9.5 minutes left in regulation time. And as that one pushed down, looking for Josh Rosa. The 2002, so a couple years younger than, I assume, his brother. John, Jake, and Josh all just kind of sounds like it should fit together, doesn't it?
It does.
Nate Braniff playing it back for Stevens. A dive attempt, and it's in the back, but no goal. As Stevens took off.
I know we don't keep this stat, but I'd be interested to see
How many crease dives we've seen?
How many called back crease dives Stevens has had? I mean, he's had quite the tournament, but boy, he's been so close to adding a few more.
Here comes Moyer, going to try one of his own. Cleared for takeoff, runway 11.
That one is going to count, Matt, and it is a gorgeous goal from Moyer, who's having himself quite the game. Like you said, some guys stepping into positions here, getting more of an opportunity, and Moyer is just doing that there. Run to perfection, put his defender on some skates and dives home. Brampton's 10th goal.
I hope we have a shot of this here at center floor. The official explaining to Jordan Ackey the difference in the two dives and the direction they were in relation to the goaltender, because I believe that's why one counts and one doesn't. Of course, we were then filled in by the encyclopedia himself, Jeremy Bailey, that it also depends on where your feet are outside of the cylinder. Heads up here as Ackey high into the face of Manderville, and we're finally going to go. This has been coming the entire time as McKay dropping the gloves here, and they're swinging. Him and Jackman Shuley. Are they finally done? Look out as they go backwards into the boards. Shuley wants more from the benches. And Liam McKay, 5'9", 170. Jackman Shuley, 5'8", 171, your tail of the tape.
Featherweight bout between the two, but some bombs thrown. I don't know how many were exchanged. Both of them doing a good job ducking here. And Matt, you said it. Tempers were flaring. There was only a matter of time until we saw a scrap, and you almost wonder maybe both teams get it out of their system and they get that fight out of their system, and maybe things might calm down here. See what's up on the board, as obviously we'll get a couple of 5s for fighting.
And I think the initial one for high sticking.
Yep.
As I return to the headset, not sure what comments you made.
Yeah, I did mention that we got to wait and see what the high stick would be, but with the force that was used, you got to assume that would have been a 5.
I don't think we had to wait very much longer, especially what transpired thereafter. And maybe that puts an end to the rest of that kind of stuff. Here's Eastrat to the far side, Van Scheppen. Eastrat again, Horseman. And I was going to see, we haven't seen Vesna since that last incident, but that's because he's still in the box. So maybe he did pick up a 10. Here's Eastrat. Horseman racing through off the shoulder there of Cosgrove. And all the way up top to Seth Van Scheppen. They did give him a reset. As Brampton continues to work it around. Halfway through our final period of the final game of the final day. As Hazen, Eastrat inside of the post, and it bounces right back out. Eastrat can't pick up. And there he is again, Jake Rosa turning it into numbers here for KW. Tries the twist shot, and Slinger there to make the save. Reed Kurtz unable to pick up cleanly. So Matthew Diamasis does. Here's Hazen. Donnelly. Hazen's got it back. Over to the far side. Eastrat tries to go cross thread and rebound up for grabs. Did they call Hazen in the crease there? That ball was definitely loose. But DeCiccio will just slow things down. One Kitchener-Waterloo player facing It was about 5 maroon and gold jerseys with 3 minutes left to kill in the penalty. Now he'll go throw a pick and a too aggressive pick. As here's DeLille. And Horseman. Passes back for Estrat. 6 minutes left in the period as Van Scheppen takes over. Now with 10 on the shot clock, he'll go to top spot. Estrat looking for the quick stick, and just a little too slow on the quick stick was Moyer. Looked like he wasn't ready for it almost, as the reaction wasn't there, and it goes errant in the corner, and it's Jake Rosa bringing it up over center.
Feels like Rose has been on the floor for KW the last
4 minutes.
I was going to say 5, but I think 4 works too.
He's going to get a look, I think. With the scouts that are in the building, he's had, a real spark plug of a tournament, and why not try for 6 minutes as he jogs back on defense?
I certainly agree with that. I said it earlier. I'll say it again. I'll say it till I'm purple in the face. You can't teach that high motor.
Estrat, Hazen, Van Scheppen, Estrat again. They go back down to the crease looking for Moyer one more time. And that spark plug-esque grit, determination, all of that is, everybody's looking for 8 of those players.
And I do know Rosa is at St. Bonaventure's University. I do believe he just finished his first season there. So he'll have a little while until his NLL draft, but certainly at the next level, at Major Series, he'll be playing some summer ball at the highest level.
Here's Hazen and Estrat. And that's, count the number of guys who have made a career off playing Major Series in the last couple years of their NCAA eligibility to show what they can do against big boys. As did that break the throat guard?
I don't know if it broke it, but it certainly...
It almost looked like they were checking for pieces of it in the crease.
Well, I have to see. We get a close look here. Definitely getting some attention. I might have gone off the drawstring, but the way they're looking at it...
Well, I saw him look back to the crease, and the official was looking around in there too, so I wondered if it...
That's a good point.
Well, that's why it's there. Because the alternative is not something that we should think of even. With 4 minutes left to go here, equipment manager will get to work. Final thanks to the Dairy Farmers of Ontario. The rest of our sponsors at Toronto Rock have helped out. Sunset, Coastline, the Rock Elite League, Back of the Bird podcast, and the ILA. What else did I miss? I think that was it.
I think you nailed it, buddy. I think you nailed it.
Wow. I don't know how I did that at the end of the day, but...
We're crawling to the finish line here of the regular season, but it's been an absolute blast, Matt. I've enjoyed every second of it. I might be a little bit biased here. I think the nightcap game is my favorite because we have the tag team duo, but shout out to you. I just show up, I put my microphone on, I call a game. The stuff that you have been doing at the arena, directing games, but even doing graphic work when you're at home as well, kudos to you, my friend.
Well, I appreciate that, and shout out to all the camera crew that we've had in through the last couple weekends. Alex Fraza was here last week directing. We've had Rachel Wolf back there working the controls all day today. Lance Wynn, who was in on commentary. Earlier today, Alan Corkum last week. And all of you viewers who have tuned into even just 5 minutes here or there of a game, whether you've been with us for all 44. I don't know how you would have done that, but I can tell you I've seen the ones that I've done, and that's about it. Sprinkled in a few major series as well, but that shot rolls off the side of the cage, and Andrew Ecclestone has another penalty here. I wonder if it's a substitution penalty. Jeremy Bailey in the box, I think. Yep, too many men as they're... I think John Vesna just left. Or somebody was in the box and took off because the benches are now empty. Mm-hmm. It's going up on the KW side, so whoever was serving the penalty... I mistakenly said Vesna because I didn't see him over there, but... I
thought you meant he just left the arena.
Oh,
He's
no.
I'm done. 3 minutes left here. I'm focusing on Final Four.
Trust me, I didn't know we could do that.
That's an option?
It's 10:16 local time. I know you like these games. I would have been long gone. Kidding, of course.
Hey, we've been missing lacrosse for so long. Jam it all in a couple of weekends. I'll take it.
And, of course, the OJLL Futures Tournament gets underway next weekend. So get in touch with the team if you think they're looking for sponsors for that. Nothing really scheduled at this point, but perhaps we can make something happen if you reach out at OntarioJuniorLacrosse.com. And, of course, the video archives will be there, a whole bunch of social content, all the stats you'll ever need. As KW goes extra attacker here with 10 seconds left to go. In their shot clock, nearing the 2-minute warning. Hard shot from the far side there from Stevens. And Slinger there to make the save. Cosgrove sliding through the crease, makes another save on Moyer. Diamasis, the long bomb, trying to beat Cosgrove back to the net.
Wow.
I'm glad I stayed. That was worth it right there.
The baseball slide to perfection.
Here's Trevor Barrett, fakes the back pass. Takes it in behind the net of Slinger. Barrett still has it now. Passing out in front over the shoulder attempt from Stevens. And the shot clock will expire just as it rolls into the stick of Slinger. Jake Stevens, Ty Kurtz not in this game. Andrew Borgatti and Nate Braniff, again, the 4 99s playing in this game today for Kitchener-Waterloo. Who, unfortunately, this is the end of the road, as they will bow out at the end of this tournament here and not make it to Final Four. Under a minute left as Horseman shoots it over top of Cosgrove.
You mentioned those names and obviously the end of their junior career, but you listed those names and all those players still have a future at the next level, whether it be Senior A, Senior B, or ultimately in the National Lacrosse League.
Well, and Senior C is now a thing in this province, has been for a little bit. I wasn't sure of. DeCiccio thought he got his feet on the right side, but I'm pretty sure the ball made its way across. As Van Scheppen, I think they're going to cradle it out, as it were. 2 seconds extra on the game clock, over the shot clock, but the Brampton Excelsiors are headed to Final Four weekend, where they'll join St. Catharines, Whitby, and Mimico in a battle for who will be the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League champion. It comes your way next weekend here on the JVI Sports Network. Patty, 44 games. We made it, bud.
44 games later. Another long day here to end the weekend, but already I cannot wait for next week. Final Four. We are getting closer to crowning a Junior A champion of Ontario.
After a couple seasons without one, and even without the Minto Cup on the line, it seems like nature is healing, as it were.
Absolutely. Talking to a lot of these players, they obviously are just excited just to even get out here and play some games inside the box. Again, a lot of these guys playing down in the States, but it's different when it's junior lacrosse. And when you add a trophy at the end, it just ups the ante, and they could not wait to compete. And I think we're set up for a phenomenal weekend next week. 4 unbelievable teams.
Be sure to follow at the OJLL on social media, at JVI Video as well. Visit OntarioJuniorLacrosse.com. You'd think after 44 I'd get it correct. Where you'll get next week's schedule and our broadcast list. On behalf of our producers today, Ryan Harkness, Gary Morrison, our director, Rachel Wolf, who's been working this field almost all day long, Lance Wynn, Alan Corkum, and my partner, Pat Gregoire, the rest of the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League, and the JVI Video crew. Thank you so much for tuning in over the past 2 weekends. We encourage you to join us next week for Final Four weekend. I'm Matthew Carrick. This has been OJLL Action on the JVI Sports Network.